Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afiuddin Kamil and I'm from English department. So today I will present the material about fiction and non-fiction. So let's start the presentation. The categories of books or stories can be called either fiction or non-fiction. So this is the characteristic between them. The fiction is a made-up story and can tell about things that could happen. And then characters may be like real people or imagery. Whereas the non-fiction, it has facts that can be checked and proven. And also the author is an expert on this information. In fiction, story is created from the author's imagination, and story as pretend. Animals or objects can talk, wear clothes, have jobs. People in the story can do things people cannot really do. Story might have funny pictures. And then next is form of fiction. There are three main forms of fiction. Number one is novel. Novel is long work of fiction, and it contains the basic element of fiction. It may contain subplots along with the main plot. Subplot here means independent related stories. And then number two, novella. Novella is shorter than a novel, but longer than a short story. So it's like a middle. And then number three is short story. Short story is brief work of fiction. It contains basic element of fiction, one main plot, one conflict, and most can be read in one sitting. And next, the genres of fiction. It's many genres in fiction, so I just put the some of genres. Number one is mystery. It typically involves the investigation of a crime, most often one or more murders. And then horror aims to frighten or disgust its readers. The next is fantasy. Fantasy is stories use magic or supernatural as a primary plot element, theme, or setting. The next is science fiction. And although difficult to define, generally refers to plausible, futuristic stories ranging from the rigorous hard science fiction to social science fiction and space opera. Science fantasy occupies a middle ground between fantasy and science, and then so on. And then now we are talking about the non-fiction. Non-fiction in a story is true and factual stories are about real people. And book gives information might have maps or real pictures. Pictures have caption describing the photograph. An index in the back helps find information. And then might have a glossary which defines some words. Text that is true based on real information. So this is the forms of non-fiction text. It's newspaper, encyclopedias, textbooks, dictionaries, collages, news, and also magazines. And then forms of non-fiction. So non-fiction has two broad categories of non-fiction are literary non-fiction and functional text. Number one is literary non-fiction. It has elements of fiction. For example, it might use vivid descriptions or a dramatic writing style or poetic language. And then the functional text, it is give instruction, show directions, explain rules, provides other information that helps you complete procedures, and often use illustration or graphics. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for attention and goodbye.